Hello everyone, welcome back to the ShrubSMP Season 6, where today I will be headed back to the Guardian farm to build up some new pillars around the perimeter. We're fresh off farming more squid ink than I think I will ever need, so all we need to do now is get some warp stems to get this job done. Alright, so we've come back over to the starter area because we are going to use this little plot of land right next to this. We have to grow some warped nylium. Well, to get some warp, we have to grow some warp stems, is what we really need. And to do that, there is this, I could make a machine. They're very complicated, and I'm not really the best at that level of redstone just yet in my Minecraft days. And what we can do is just use the MCCO game feature that we have on the server, which allows our tools to do some really cool things. So one of them, as I'm laying out the little plot of land where we're going to plant our warped fungus here and grow some trees to show you and demonstrate how this works and how we're going to quickly and efficiently gather the amount of warped stem that I need for the build that I'm planning. So we're going to quickly grow up these trees with some bone meal, and then once they're grown, we use our MCCO pack that we have on the server to pick your tool, and once you get enough levels in your tool, in particular the axe in this case, wood cutting is a skill, and then when you have enough levels in your skill, there's a feature called tree feller, which any trees that are connected to each other, any really pieces of wood that are connected to each other, so if you right click and ready your axe and left click, it activates tree feller, which then will knock down all of the trees that are connected to each other. And that's a kind of an easier way, at least without having to go through the craziness of building a giant redstone machine, to fix up your area if you have a bunch of trees. So if you're doing a foresting, like out in that area out there, I could quickly tree feller a number of those trees all at the same time. It does have a cooldown, you have to wait a little while until you use it again, but at the very least, look, I got a whole stack of warp stem already. So quick little easy way to do that on our server, and I'm going to sit here and collect. I don't have any more fungus right now, so I'm going to have to bone meal some fungus, but I'm going to repeat this process several times, get enough wood so that we can use these over at the Guardian farm to continue to make all of the pillars that we need around the perimeter, because aside from the dark prismarine that we've been making ever since we upgraded our squid farm and gotten tons and tons of black ink, now we just need the warped fungus to go with it. We'll continue that right now. Alright, so we're back for one more shot with the tree feller, and we should have enough for the short term at least to get started back at that Guardian farm and get these pillars going. It really is cool. You gather the materials that you need, and then you go do your builds. So we'll go over there to the Guardian farm and get started right now. Okay, we're back at the Guardian farm, and our goal today is to go up to the surface and turn the perimeter of this slab down at the bottom into multiple pillars. We want to have at least these two pillars mirrored on the other side. We already started that a while back with the bottom layer before I ran out of materials, but that's kind of the good news, is now that we've got the squid farm, we've got all that black ink to make the dark prismarine, and we've been here for a while farming. We also got our warped stem. We can have all the blocks that we need for this color palette from top to bottom and have plenty of materials to go ahead and make the entire perimeter. So we're going to go on over and set up a little base of operation right on this side, because these two pillars are going to be the first ones that we build, and that's going to have all the materials we need. Oh, there's one thing I need to go get the buzzsaw. All right, now that we have our stone cutter, we can get back to work over here and see where we left off. Did we? Yep, we finished this layer. So now the next layer looks like it is back to the dark prismarine. That's exactly why I stopped, because I'm sure I ran out of it. And we'll go ahead and make half a stack of that and get started on this layer. So I'm going to go ahead and build up to the top, and then from there, I think what we're going to do is we're going to prepare. Since we have plenty of materials, we should prepare for a time lapse. I think that's going to be the move. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this off and get started, and then we'll take a look at it. And then from there, we'll fire it up and just go for the whole perimeter. We'll see how many we can build with the amount of materials that we have. All right, so as we put the finishing touches on this last pillar, we have one down and several more to go, so we're going to continue. That took a lot more of the resources. I didn't count this one out. That took a lot more than I thought it was going to take, because I put a bunch of this stuff in the shulker box. Let's see what we got left. Well, not too bad, but the dark prismarine in particular has me a little worried, because I went through over a stack of stairs just to get that far, and I know I have to make at least one more, so we're going to make one more. And then from there, before we do the time lapse, we'll count it all up and see if we can put some more around the perimeter. I think certainly there and there and there and there. So I'm probably looking at 4 more, well, 5 more after this one. And then we will see whether or not we have to do any more resource grinding. But the good news about building at a farm, much like we saw at the squid farm, is the materials gather while you're building. So like right now, while we're building, those guys are falling to their demise and their materials are being collected. Yeah, sure, I'm not using my looting 3 sword to collect them, but it's still actively happening while I'm building. And the longer I take to build, the more that stuff will get filtered through there, and the more likely I'm gonna have enough dark prismarine to make this build. So let's keep going and see our next pillar. Okay, and with our second one done, now the matching twin pillars are on this side. We got a little Enderman over there, don't want to look at him. But yes, now I got 2 of them. Still have plenty of supplies left, so we're definitely going to go ahead and put 4 more around the perimeter on both sides of the edges here, right there. Look, he's left a block to mark where this guy's going to go. What a nice Enderman. But we're going to go ahead and put 2 there and 2 on the opposite side, and we're going to fire up a time lapse to do that right now, and it's going to be awesome. All right, now that we've got all that done and night is falling, we're going to take a quick sleep, pack up all our materials, and take a look at what we've done and what we can possibly do next. So we have, let's pack up all our materials here, clean up after ourselves, and we have a surrounding area of pillars, all very cool. And what we realized, so while we were building, we did see that these ones on the edges didn't quite follow the exact pattern in the back. They're 1 block short in the back right here. So because of the overhang, and on the opposite side, I hadn't cleared out enough wall yet. So we're gonna just leave it like this for the time being. As we expand in the future, we may go ahead and fix that up, but in the meantime, we have a surrounding area of pillars, and I think it's really neat. But I'm really happy how this turned out. Like, this is just phase 1, and now we have to start thinking about what the floor is going to look like. Floor can be decorated into different patterns and different multiple kinds of blocks that are used, decorative, all kind of, I tend to use valuable, so we may actually throw some gold in around here, or lapis lazuli, or some of the other exotic blocks. But regardless, we're gonna move on to our next project and think about what that is and move on. Alright, so now that we're done decorating at least those pillars, we're gonna go down and check and see how the collection has been doing while we were up there building. I forget how many we started with, but now we have a full box of prismarine shards, which is really awesome because we have to keep making some supplies. And wow, crystals, plenty of crystals. The fish are filling up. We're doing amazing here. So I think what we're going to do, though, to end up and wrap up this episode is, we have so much black dye, I don't even know how long it's going to take to AFK this farm to even consume it all and make dark prismarine, because dark prismarine does take quite a bit to make. So we're going to bring maybe this bottom row of dye with us over to the community storage, because, you know, hey, part of being on a SMP is to share with others, and this stuff isn't the easiest to come by unless you have a farm. And as we saw in the last episode, my farm is overproducing, and I can't even begin to make as much dark prismarine. I have so much left over. Even with the amount of prismarine we're collecting here at this farm, it will take absolutely forever. So we're going to head on back to Spawn Town now and drop this stuff off. And as we fly in over Spawn Town, we head down towards the bridge, and if we can fly underneath, all right, we do. So this player-built bridge leads down to other players' areas who are just across the path and out of town. You can see some builds over there across the river. We have some builds here on the coastal edge, right across a player-built bridge there as well. But over here, we have a community storage area, and there is a player on the server who manages this, and they ask that we just drop off our donations here, and as we drop it off, we see it disappear, and they'll collect it later and sort it so that people can find some. And yeah, always a good thing to drop off all your extra stuff that you think other players may need right here in the public storage. And taking a look over, it's really a cool little cozy area, isn't it? So we have all, obviously, the cherry theme going on. So as those items filter through and I wonder what I'm going to do next, I'll have to think about whether or not we go do some more expansion at the Guardian Farm, maybe work on that floor, or head back to the ancient city and start to do a lot more decoration down there, because we left off with just some restoration. Actually, there's plenty of restoration left to do. Always a lot to do here on the server. So as always, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye for now.